Welcome back. There are so many things that people wonder about regarding meditation. What posture is best? Is there an optimal time of day for it? Should I do it with my eyes open or closed? And so on. Let's start tackling these types of things one by one. In terms of posture, our number one rule of thumb is that you should do whatever is most comfortable for you. So if you like to lay down, go ahead and lay down. As long as you don't fall asleep, that's perfectly fine. If you want to sit in a comfy chair and lean back, go for it. If you want to slouch on the couch, go for it. If you want to sit in some Eastern style meditation position because you've become accustomed to it or you've seen it on TV or something, go for it. The most important thing is for you to be comfortable. We don't adhere to any other rules about this. We don't care about a straight spine. We don't care about whether you're facing a certain direction on the compass. Anything that you have heard about from some other tradition or religion or class or whatever else doesn't matter to us one bit, except if you believe it and it matters to you. If that's the case, great. You should probably keep doing it because you don't want to be fighting your beliefs while you're in the program. But, frankly, we have no judgment around that. However, from our standpoint, in terms of getting to fundamental well-being, we've not seen that any of these types of things are relevant. What is relevant is that you be comfortable and not distracted so that your brain can go through the processes that it needs to get you to fundamental well-being as rapidly, safely, and reliably as possible. Another common question is when to meditate. We recommend that you experiment with meditating at different times of day. For some of you, it will be best in the morning, while others of you are going to fall asleep at that time. For others, you're going to have better luck at night, though then again, some of you will fall asleep at night because the mornings are better or another time of day is better. You name it. Right now, you probably have no idea when you should be optimally meditating. These first couple of weeks of the course are the time to experiment with this type of thing. Try mornings, afternoons, evenings, really experiment around time. Now, if you've got a certain hole in your schedule and you're a super busy person and it's like just this time, it's the only time that you can do it, great. Do it at that time because we definitely want you to meditate. However, you might see if you can get a little flexibility. Maybe move that hole to somewhere else the next day or another place the day after that and try it there as well. You might find, as most people who experiment with this do, that some times of day are better for you than others. Along these lines, we also recommend experimenting with different locations. Who knows why, but for some reason, if you meditate in your bed versus the guest bedroom's bed or the couch or whatever else, it can make a difference. It could be psychological priming. It could be the smells in the environment. We can speculate on the many different things that it could actually be. There's no way to know, though. So it's best to keep your mind out of it, not speculate, not try to figure it out mentally, and just experiment with different places and see what works. We're not going to guess about it. We're going to use trial and error to figure this and everything else out that matters in the program. So try one place and then another. Try them at different times of day. Again, you want to use these first 2 weeks to experiment, and what you'll probably find is that there's some sort of ideal combination, like the couch at 4 p.m. just before you eat. Great. That becomes your meditation time and circumstances that you can stick with from that point on. Notice that I included when you've eaten. Things like this can also matter. If you exercise, it might be better before or after that, or even a certain period of time after it. Maybe it's terrible right after it, but an hour later is optimal and 2 hours later is not as great. Pay attention to your other life events like this as you try to figure out what works best for you. Once you have it dialed in, stick with it. Your physiology and your mind are going to anchor to that. And what you'll find is that when you keep going back at a certain time to a certain place to do a certain thing like meditate, it'll be much more effective. It's like your whole physiology just somehow magically knows, oh, we're in the meditation place at the meditation time. Okay, we're supposed to be doing that right now. Whether you meditate with your eyes open or closed is entirely up to you. And you can feel free to experiment with that if you want to. Generally speaking, it's more powerful for people to meditate with their eyes closed, and that's because it increases a certain brainwave frequency that's associated with meditation, and it just does that naturally, even if you're not meditating. So even if you just close your eyes, that particular brainwave frequency increases. So you get a little extra cheat by closing your eyes, but you don't have to. There are many people for whom meditation is way more effective with their eyes open or with their eyes just partially open. And so you have to experiment. That's what this course is all about. It's about experimenting to find what is right for you. We don't recommend listening to music as you meditate, as it generally interferes with what the process of meditation is trying to do, at least in our program. And the same is true for any audio tracks that you might have that are supposed to modify your brain waves, or for white noise generators in the background, and so on. Even if you're in a noisy environment and you think you want to use white noise to drown it out, we would prefer that you not do that. We'll actually use the sounds in the environment as part of the overall process. If you have an itch, there's no need to tough it out. Just scratch the itch. It's not a big deal. If you're sore and you need to stretch, and especially if something hurts, stretch. Again, it's not a big deal. Adjust your position. Do whatever it takes to be comfortable. Some people question whether they should swallow their saliva. Just swallow normally as you need to do that. Here again, not a big deal. Some people have a lot of saliva and they worry that having to swallow too much is somehow going to affect their meditation. Well, if that's the case for you, here's a little tip for you. You can put your tongue on the roof of your mouth so that the saliva just kind of slides down your throat, but you can also still just swallow. It's just not that big a deal. In fact, none of this stuff is a big deal. You're not going to screw this up. These exercises work with the whole system. They work with everything that's going on with you. You're also going to want a way to time your sessions. One of the things you'll notice is that your hour-long practice sessions will often have two parts. We'll have you do something for the first 30 minutes and something different for the second 30 minutes. And as a result, you need a way to know when the first 30 minutes is up and when the second 30 minutes is up. Well, if you want, you can go old school. Most people have a couple of kitchen timers still lying around, so you can set one for 30 minutes and one for 60 minutes, and that can tell you. There are also all kinds of apps that you can find for your smartphone that will allow you to set multiple timers as well. One final key point is, again, to just practice. As I said earlier, try to stay out of your mind and just focus on the exercise. Don't focus on your ideas about it. Don't focus on your thoughts about the results or the lack of results that you think you're having, or your expectations, or comparisons between what's happening for you and what's happening for other people, and so on. And in fact, that last one is especially important. People will have experiences and transitions during the program as methods match up to them. This means that if one of the last methods in the program is the one that matches up to you, you might spend the entire course hearing about a lot of other people's positive experiences. That can get very frustrating as you go along, but it shouldn't be. The only difference between them and you is that their methods were released before yours was. Because of this, one of the most important things for you to do is not compare your experience to others as you go through the program. There's plenty of fundamental well-being to go around. When people transition before you, as they most likely will, unless you're in the 1% on day one, be happy for them and know that your method and your time is coming. Also, keep in mind that no two people's nervous systems are alike, and thus everyone will likely be reporting different experiences. It's not in any way productive for you to compare your experiences to others, except when we point something out as being potentially more universal. There's simply no reason to frustrate yourself like that. In fact, don't try to figure anything out. Just do it. It's that simple. Okay, that's it for this section. We just wanted to give you a nice, broad overview of how we think about meditation in the context of both the program and fundamental well-being in general to help you orient to it. I'll see you next time.